Chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, the Divine State. Just a reminder that this is a straight read-through, chapter by chapter, each chapter being a separate video of the entire Bhagavad Gita with no commentary. If you would like to read the commentary by this particular translator, Michael Beloved, it is available. It's called Bhagavad Gita Explained, and it is on Amazon and michaelbeloved.com. It's a very good commentary of the Bhagavad Gita. The Divine State, Chapter 2. Sanjaya said, "To him who was overcome with pity, whose eyes were filled with tears, who was perplexed and saddened with hopelessness, the killer of Madhu spoke this response. How has this sickly emotion come to you at a crucial time? It is not suitable for a cultured man. It does not facilitate heaven in the hereafter. It causes disgrace, O Arjuna. O son of Pritha, you should not entertain cowardly behavior. This is not suitable for you. Give up this degrading emotional weakness. Stand, O scorcher of the enemy." Arjuna said, "How will I attack in battle Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of reverence, O Krishna? In fact, it is better to eat by begging in this world than by killing the revered teachers who are great-natured. By having slain the venerable teachers on the basis of impulsive desires, I would enjoy blood-stained luxuries here on earth. And this we do not know, which of the alternatives is better, whether we should conquer or if they should triumph over us. It concerns these sons of Dhritarashtra who stand armed before us and whom we would not desire to outlive if they are killed. As a mercy-prone man, overcome by these feelings of pity, with my sense of duty clouded by mental confusion, I ask you to tell me with certainty what is preferable. I am a student of yours. Instruct me who am submitted to you. In fact, I do not see what would remove the sadness that absorbs my enthusiasm. Even unrivaled rulership and prosperity on earth, or sovereignty over the angelic kingdom." Sanjaya said, "O Dhritarashtra, scorcher of enemies, after appealing to Krishna, Arjuna said to Govinda, the chief of the cowherds, 'I will not fight.' Having said this, he became silent. O descendant of Bharata, in the middle of both armies, Krishna, who was smiling, spoke this speech to the dejected Arjuna. The Blessed Lord said, 'You mourned for that which should not be regretted, and you expressed intelligent statements. There was never a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor these rulers of the people, nor will we cease to exist from now onwards. As the embodied soul endures childhood, youth, and old age, so another body is acquired in sequence. The wise person is not confused on this topic. O son of Kunti, mundane sensations which cause cold and heat, pleasure and pain, do come and go. Cope with them, O man of the Bharata family. O bull among men, these mundane sensations do not afflict the wise man who is steady in miserable or enjoyable conditions. That person is fit for immortality. Of the non-substantial things, there is no enduring existence. Of the substantial things, there is no lack of existence. These two truths were perceived with certainty by the mystic seers of reality. Know that indestructible factor by which all this world is pervaded. No one can accomplish the destruction of that everlasting principle. It is declared that the bodies of the eternal, indestructible, immeasurable embodied soul are terminal. Therefore, fight, descendant of the Bharatas. Both viewers do not understand, namely, he who concludes that the embodied soul is the killer, and he who thinks that the embodied soul is killed. The embodied soul does not kill, nor can he be killed. This embodied soul is not born, nor does it die at any time, nor having existed will it not be. Being birthless, eternal, perpetual, and primeval, it is not slain in the act of killing the body. O son of Pritha, how can the person who knows this indestructible, eternal, birthless, and imperishable principle cause someone to be killed, or even kill someone directly? As when discarding old clothing, a person takes new garments, so the embodied soul abandons old bodies, taking new ones. Weapons do not pierce, fire does not burn, and water does not wet, nor does the wind dry that embodied soul. This embodied soul cannot be pierced, cannot be burnt, cannot be moistened, cannot be dried, and indeed, this soul is eternal. It can penetrate all things. It is a permanent principle and is stable and primeval. This embodied soul is undisplayed and unimaginable and unchanging. Therefore, knowing this, you should not lament. And furthermore, if you think that this embodied soul is continually being born or continually dying, even so, O strong-armed man, you should not lament. In fact, of that which is born, death is certain. Of that which is dead, birth is certain. Therefore, in assessing what is unavoidable, you should not lament. The living beings are undetected in the beginning of a manifestation, visible in the interim stages, and are again undetected at the end of a manifestation. Someone perceives this embodied soul as being wonderful. Another person describes it as amazing. Another hears of it as being fantastic. And even after hearing this, no one knows this embodied soul, in fact. In the body, in all cases, this embodied soul is always non-killable, O descendant of Bharata. Therefore, you should not mourn for any of these beings. And considering your assigned duty, you should not look for alternatives. In fact, for the son of a king, there is no other duty which is better than a righteous battle. And by a stroke of luck, the gate of heaven is opened. Thrilled are the warriors who get such a battle opportunity, O son of Pritha. Now, if you do not conduct this righteous war, then, by neglecting your duty and reputation, you will acquire fault. The people will think of your downfall continually, and for an honored man, the loss of reputation is harder to bear than the loss of his body. The great warriors will think that because of fear you withdrew from battle, and to those who held a big opinion, you will appear to be insignificant. The enemies will say many slurs about you, thus laughing at your capacity. But what would be a greater grief than this? Either be killed and achieve the angelic world, or having conquered, enjoy the nation. Therefore, stand up and be decisive, O son of Kunti. Having regarded happiness, distress, gains, losses, victory, and defeat as the same emotions, apply yourself to battle. Thus you will get no demerit. As explained in the Samkhya philosophy, this vision is the insight. But hear of its application in yoga practice. Yoked with this insight, O son of Pritha, you will avoid the complications of action. In this insight, no endeavor is lost, nor is there any reversal. Even a little of this righteous practice protects from the great danger. When a person's intentional determination is guided by technical insight, he experiences one view, O dear man of the Kuru family. But the views of a person with many hopes are diverse and endless. This is poetic quotation which the ignorant reciters proclaim, O son of Pritha. Enjoying the Vedic verses, they say there is no other written authority. Those reciters, being people of a sensuous nature, being intent on going to the Swarga, angelic world, offering such rebirth as payoff for cultural activities, while making themselves busy in various specific ceremonial rites and focusing on enjoyment and political power. Being absorbed by this way of life, pleasure-prone and power-seeking people are captivated by this idea. Thus, in meditation, the self-focused intellect is not experienced by them. 3 moody phases are offered by the Vedas. Be without the 3 modes, Arjuna. Be without the moody fluctuations. Be always anchored to reality. Be free from grasping and possessiveness. For as much importance as there is in a well when suitable water flows in all directions, so much worth is in the entire Vedas for a perceptive Brahmin. The command is yours while performing, but not at any time in the aftermath of consequences. Do not be motivated by a result, nor harbor an attachment to idleness. So perform actions in a yogic mood. Attachment to crippling emotions should be abandoned, O conqueror of wealthy countries. Be indifferent to success or failure. It is said that indifference denotes yoga. Surely, cultural action is by far inferior to intellectual discipline through yoga, O victor of wealthy countries. A person who is disciplined by the reality-piercing insight disregards in each life both pleasant and unpleasant work. Therefore, take to the yogic mood. Yoga gives skill in performance. Having abandoned the results which are produced by actions and being freed from the bondage of rebirth, those wise people, the disciplined mystic seers, go to the misery-free place. When from your delusion-saturated mind your discrimination departs, you will become disgusted with what is to be heard and what was heard. When rejecting misleading scriptural information, your intelligence remains steady without moody variation, being situated in deep meditation with a stable intelligence, you will master the yoga disciplines. Arjuna said, in regards to the person who is situated in clear, penetrating insight, would you please describe him? Speak of the person who is anchored in deep meditation, O Keshava Krishna. As for the man who is steady in objectives, how would he speak? How would he sit? How would he act? The Blessed Lord said, when someone abandons all cravings, O son of Pritha, and escapes from mental dominance, being self-content, then that person is identified as one with steady insight. Furthermore, someone who is in miserable conditions remains free from worries, and who in good conditions remains free from excitement, who steps aside from passion, fear, and anger, and who is steady in meditation is considered to be a wise man. A person who in all circumstances is without crippling affections, who, when meeting enjoyable or disturbing factors, does not get excited nor distressed, his reality-piercing consciousness is established. When such a person pulls fully out of moods, He or she may be compared to the tortoise with its limbs retracted. The senses are withdrawn from the attractive things in the case of a person whose reality-piercing vision is established. The temptations themselves turn away from the disciplinary attitude of an ascetic, but the memory of previous indulgences remain with him. When he experiences higher stages, those memories leave him. Concerning an aspiring seeker, O son of Kunti, concerning a discerned, educated person, the senses do torment him. By impulsions, the senses do adjust his mentality. Restraining all these senses, being disciplined in yoga practice, an ascetic should sit, being focused on me. The vision of a person whose sensuality is controlled remains anchored in reality. The act of considering sensual objects creates in a person an attachment to them. From attachment comes craving. From this craving, anger is derived. From anger comes delusion. From this delusion, the conscience vanishes. When he loses judgment, his discerning power fades away. Once the discernment is affected, he is ruined. If, on the other hand, cravings and dislikings are continued, and the attractive objects and senses continue interaction, a disciplined person who is usually well behaved gets the grace of providence. By the grace of providence, all the emotional distresses cease for him. Being of a pacified mind, his intelligence at once becomes stable. In comparison, never is there proper discernment in an uncontrolled person. He is not capable of concentration. One who lacks concentration cannot get inner peace. For one who lacks emotional stability, how will happiness be achieved? When the mind is prompted by the wandering senses, it utilizes the discernment, just as in water the wind handles a ship. Thus, O Arjuna, concerning the person who, in every interaction, retracts the sensual feelings from the attractive objects, his discernment remains constant. The sense-controlling person is perceptive of that which is void to the ordinary person. What is exciting to the masses of people is void to the perceptive sage. Becoming filled, not flowing about, remaining stationary, the ocean absorbs the waters that enter it. Similarly, a person who remains calm when cravings arise gets true satisfaction, but not the person who craves for every desire. The person who rejects all cravings, whose acts are free of lusty motivation, who is indifferent to possessions, who is free of impulsive assertion, attains contentment. This divine state is required, O son of Pritha. If a man does not have this, he is stupefied. At the time of death, the full stoppage of mundane sensuality and the attainment of divinity is attained by one who is fixed in this divine state. Next up is chapter 3, and just another reminder, if you would like to read the commentary of this translation by Michael Beloved, it is called Bhagavad Gita Explained.